Picture this. It's 326 BCE. The relentless monsoon rains have turned the Hydaspes River in modern-day Pakistan into a raging torrent. On one side stands Alexander the Great, the undefeated conqueror who has carved an empire from Greece to the edge of India. His Macedonian army, seasoned by countless battles, stares across the churning water. They've marched thousands of miles, but the greatest challenge of their lives is waiting for them on the other side. On the far bank, a truly intimidating sight awaits. King Porus of the Pauravas has assembled a formidable force. We're talking tens of thousands of infantry, swift cavalry, and deadly war chariots. But leading the charge is something Alexander's men have never faced before. A terrifying wall of 200 war elephants, armored and ready for battle. These were the tanks of the ancient world, capable of trampling infantry and scattering cavalry with ease. For the Macedonians, it must have felt like facing mythical beasts. How could they possibly cross a flooded river and defeat such an enemy? Porus was confident. The river was his natural defense, and his elephants were his ultimate weapon. He patrolled the main crossing points, daring Alexander to make a move. For weeks, the two armies faced each other in tense standoff. Alexander, ever the master of psychological warfare, began a campaign of deception. He sent his troops marching up and down the riverbank, making loud noises and pretending to prepare for a crossing at various points. This constant activity kept Porus's army on high alert, exhausted and unsure of where the real attack would come. Then, under the cover of a violent thunderstorm, Alexander made his move. The thunder and pouring rain masked the sound of his soldiers. He left a portion of his army behind under his general Craterus to keep Porus distracted at the main camp. Meanwhile, Alexander led his elite cavalry and a hand-picked group of infantry on a secret 17-mile march upstream. They found a suitable crossing point, an island that helped break up the river's current. In the dead of night, they began the perilous crossing on makeshift rafts and boats. It was a massive gamble. If they were discovered, they'd be trapped and slaughtered. As dawn broke, Porus was shocked to learn that Alexander was already across the river and forming up for battle. He immediately sent his son with a force of cavalry and chariots to intercept them, but it was too late. Alexander's experienced cavalry, led by the man himself, swiftly crushed this advance force. The main event was about to begin. Porus turned his entire army to face Alexander's smaller, flanking force. He placed his mighty elephants at the front, with infantry packed in the gaps between them, and his cavalry protecting the flanks. His plan was to use the elephants to smash through the Macedonian phalanx. What followed was one of the most brutal and chaotic battles of the ancient world. The Macedonians charged. The war elephants, spurred on by their mahouts, crashed into the disciplined ranks of the phalanx. The sight was terrifying. Men were trampled, thrown into the air, and gored by tusks. The Macedonian spears, so effective against human soldiers, struggled to penetrate the thick hides of the elephants. For a moment, it seemed like Alexander's legendary army might actually break, but Alexander's genius was in his adaptability. He ordered his light infantry to target the elephants' mahouts, the men controlling the beasts. Without their drivers, the elephants became panicked and uncontrollable. Wounded and confused, some of them turned back and began trampling Porus's own infantry, causing chaos in the Indian lines. At the same time, Alexander's superior cavalry outmaneuvered and destroyed Porus's horsemen on the flanks. Seeing the Indian army in disarray, Craterus, who had been waiting on the other side of the river, began his crossing, effectively trapping Porus's army between two Macedonian forces. The battle turned into a slaughter. In the end, Alexander's tactics won the day, but it came at a heavy cost. His army suffered significant casualties, and the battle left a deep psychological scar on his men. King Porus, fighting bravely to the very end atop his lead elephant, was wounded multiple times but refused to flee. Captured and brought before Alexander, he was asked how he wished to be treated. In a now famous moment of defiance and dignity, Porus replied, "Treat me, Alexander, as a king." Alexander was so impressed by Porus's courage that he did something extraordinary. Not only did he spare Porus's life, but he also allowed him to keep his kingdom. He made him an ally and even expanded his territory. The Battle of the Hydaspes was Alexander's final great battle. It was a testament to his military brilliance, but it also showed his capacity for respecting a worthy adversary. It remains a legendary clash of two of history's great commanders. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic stories. See you next time.